In this episode, I'm with Tom Brees, the GOAT of YouTube advertising.
Everyone goes to YouTube because they're looking to know something, do something, buy something, or be inspired by something.
Right.
You want to get your viewers' mindset to the point where they're like, they're already asking the question of what's next before you even put the call to action together,
right,
so to speak. So they're super primed, they're ready to do that, whatever you tell them to do. We can
say
do this if you like. We can create an ad right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cool.
Can we promote this show right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it.
You're probably feeling a little bit worried about where the future lies, and YouTube could be the perfect answer for you. Now, I run YouTube ads for so many different clients, spending a fortune every single month. What I'm going to share with you right now is, well, actually, what you're going to share with them right now is what we're talking about in this episode. If you want to get access to this right now, all you need to do is click the link in this video right now. Click that, it'll take you through, sign up, and you'll get instant access. Do that right now. I think we nailed it.
That was pretty good,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what you're saying, everyone wants to be great, but only few actually get there. And I'm on a mission to find out what all the greatest have in common. I've traveled tirelessly to find, sit down, and talk with GOATs, people that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. Sales, marketing, advertising, business, podcasts, branding, you name it. The way they do things may be different, but they all seem to see the world the same way. To them, success is not only achievable, but inevitable. And we'll get inside their heads as they share their expertise with me each week. My name's Mike Arce, and this is The GOAT Show. This episode is sponsored by Billie Jean is Marketing. I signed up for his training years ago, and it was hands down one of the best decisions I've ever made. Billie and his team really understand the art and science of building high-converting Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube ads, and he's offering all GOAT Show listeners a 60% discount on the same trainings me and my team have gone through. And if you go to BillieJeanAds.com, you can get that 60% discount. Again, that's BillieJeanAds.com. Their support is fantastic, and everything he does works extremely well with our favorite tool, ClickFunnels. If you're gonna run YouTube ads or Facebook ads or any type of paid ads, you should never run it to a website. You'll waste a ton of money and pay way too much for your leads. Landing pages should always get the traffic, and ClickFunnels is the best tool for the job. And right now, ClickFunnels is offering a free 14-day trial at ClickFunnelsPromo.com. Again, that's ClickFunnelsPromo.com. Hello everybody, I'm Mike Arce, and welcome back to another episode of The GOAT Show, where we interview people that are arguably the greatest of all time at what they do. And today, I'm here with Mr. Tom Brees, the GOAT of YouTube ads. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Man, I am super excited. You know what? You know how excited I am? I got you a pretty cool gift. You want to see it?
Yeah.
We got to show Tom the gift. This is so appropriate.
Oh, this is actually.
I feel like you gotta hang that. You gotta hang that somewhere, man.
Tom Brees, the GOAT of YouTube advertising.
Is
I've
that,
just got to skip out on that as well.
Don't skip that one.
That's amazing.
Let that run.
That is amazing. I've got a feeling if I put this up in the office, then the whole of my team will be constantly pressing around.
There's gonna be fingerprints all over
exactly.
the place.
That's
cool.
Man,
so there you go.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you can take that back with you.
I will definitely be.
So. Yeah, man, we looked at your stuff, and I initially heard about you from Russell Brunson and Dave. They were in my hotel room. Actually, I was interviewing Russell for the GOAT Show, and after it was over, I said, hey, man, who is the GOAT of YouTube ads? I need to get this guy. And he and Dave looked at each other, and it was like a 90s movie. They go, Tom Brees, like both of them at the same time. And I was like, okay. So they connected me with you, and that's kind of how we got here, and we started looking at your stuff, and you're for real. You've done some incredible things. So we're going to be talking about some strategic stuff, which is exciting.
Cool.
But we're also going to go back and learn like what you did before and what your journey was to becoming a GOAT of YouTube ads. Sounds good?
Sounds amazing.
So really quick, before we get into that, just tell me, like, what does your business do today? Like, how do you use YouTube ads to help people?
So I run an agency called Viewability. We also do a little bit of training around all about YouTube ads. We don't really touch anything else. It's just advertising on YouTube. We work with a lot of clients. Our agency works on a CPA basis, so instead of a monthly fee or a percentage of ad spend, we just work on a normally like a cost per acquisition, so cost per lead or cost per sale model that's like a no risk for the client, and it means that we can scale up with them, we grow with them. It's almost like a partnership, like a media partnership with them, really.
Okay.
That works really well. And we've just been told by Google as well that we're the highest spending agency on YouTube for performance-based campaigns.
Wow,
worldwide.
really?
So that's pretty cool to know that.
That is worldwide. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long have you been in this YouTube game now?
A long time. So I first started with YouTube, like this is before advertising really, but I first started with YouTube when I first uploaded my video to my website. And so I had a company that was teaching people how to overcome anxieties and fears, normally in the business setting, so it'd be like public speaking or meetings or presentations, that type of thing. And I stuck a video on a homepage of my website, and that was a YouTube video, so it was just an embedded YouTube video. And my conversion rates on that page tripled overnight. From the same ad spend, like everything I was running to the actual website. So that was probably around about, I don't know, it must be like 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. Okay. Like I can't remember exactly the length ago it was, but yeah, I've been doing that, and then we did a lot of stuff around the SEO world of YouTube, so getting videos ranked on the front pages of Google, like in the search results and that sort of stuff. And then one day I just switched on ads for one of our clients that was doing really well with SEO, but I could just sense the future was not going to be with SEO. And so I stuck his ad on YouTube as his SEO style video as an ad on YouTube. And from day one, I fell in love with it. Like I had like so many members of staff working on SEO campaigns and all this sort of stuff. Right. And I stuck on an ad. I was like, oh my God, I could just pay a machine to do this for me. Right. And it just works really, really well. So the cost per acquisition was amazing. The amount of scale that we could get was amazing. And I was just like, right, this is the future. And no one's advertising on YouTube. So it was real easy. And still today, there's such a big opportunity. No one's really advertising with YouTube.
Not aggressively or exclusively like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, Tom and who you are. So where'd you grow up?
Grew up in the, you can probably tell by the accent. I grew up in Texas.
What accent? Yeah, Texas, yes.
No, so I was born in a place called Eastbourne, which is down on the south coast of the UK.
Okay.
And grew up there. And just kind of I kind of like learned a lot at school. I was like always one of those hard-working kids, not probably the most talented, but just like I'll kind of put my mind to it and we'll kind of work something out. And so I kind of stayed there for up until about the age of 18, and then I went to university at that point in the UK, and went to Leeds, which is much higher, it's much further north.
You moved to a place called Leeds?
Moved to yeah, exactly. It was written in the stars.
Is that
right?
where? Is that yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah. And then I moved to a place called Sales afterwards. No, I'm joking. So I lived there for about 3 years whilst I was at university. Studied psychology, and I think that's where I first started falling in love with kind of the idea of advertising and human behaviour and that type of thing. So did that for 3 years, then finished up and then did my master's in London. So then I moved to London and spent about 10 years there. Okay. And then that was when I first started my first business. And having learned a lot about psychology at university, I then started applying that. So I did my master's and then got trained up in how to work with people one-to-one.
You got your master's, wow.
Yeah, and I was like really keen to try and work out how to be a psychologist, really. Yeah. But at the age of I was like 25, so I wouldn't necessarily say that I have much life experience behind me at the age of 25. I was very self-aware of that. Although I did have some grey hair coming through at that time, so it kind of works for me in some ways and not in others. And then I started working with people one-to-one, and kind of I realised I was really good at the one-to-one stuff, but I was really good at filling my diary. I'd work with people on a one-to-one basis, have like a half-day session with them, so it'd be like 3 to 4 hours. And at that age, I had the energy to do 2 of those a day, and or sometimes even 3 of those a day, and just like worked out Google AdWords for that business. And I just kind of started growing it and kind of scaling it, and I was like, this is amazing. And it was in the good old days of Google AdWords, so it's a lot easier than it is today.
Yeah, it's cheaper and it's easier less competition.
Yeah, you could almost press go with horrible targeting, and you end up still making it work. So it was funny. So I got really good results with that, and I got kind of spoiled really because I got used to that, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then one day the cost started rising a little bit, and I was like, well, what could I do to improve this? That's when I started creating some video. So I put the video on my landing page, and it was a horrible video. It was probably about 7 minutes of me like really terrible video to what I can do now, but it was me speaking directly to camera, and I thought that I had to do a video all in one take because I didn't realize there was such a thing called editing. So I just did the whole thing all in one take, stuck it on my front page of my website, and my conversion rate went from 7% to 22% overnight. And I was immediately like, wow, I've worked it out. And it was at that point I realized that it was the video that was doing all the heavy lifting for the whole business, really. And so I started creating more and more videos, and I started putting them out via email to all of my audience, and just started closing so many more clients on a regular basis. And I was like, this video thing is really working, but still no one was using it.
Right.
And I still carried on with the same business. And I remember some people in the audience one time. I had about 20 people at a workshop, and 2 people came up to me at lunch and said, hey, I love your videos. Can you teach me how to do video for my business? And I said, yeah, sure. And I said, well, maybe I'll throw out to the audience, see if they'd be interested in doing it. And every one of the audience said, oh yeah, that's kind of why we're here. We want to learn about video. I was like, right, okay. Wow. So I started teaching them how to present on video, how to come across in the right way, how to put it all together, how to put it on YouTube and things. And it just really snowballed from there, because then they wanted more promotion for those videos, and I just took over a little bit. So we kind of turned into an agency more by the fact that there was a demand for it. And then we did a lot of SEO stuff, and then as I say, that's where I started realizing the SEO game was getting more complicated and more difficult, and that's when I started advertising with YouTube, and just from there it was like a hockey stick growth. It just immediately the company just exploded, because it was more leverageable then. It wasn't me working one-to-one with anybody or doing workshops any longer. It was just me getting results for clients and just scaling that up.
What would you say is the craziest video you promoted? The one you're like, it is kind of weird, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
We did a virally type video with my guitar client, and so he's a guy with a huge, great big long beard, and he's the coolest guy. He's Tony Policastro, coolest guy in the world, and easily our best performer on video, just amazing. Okay. And we've done some really cool stuff with him in the past, but he did one which was very much like the Dollar Shave advert. Do you remember that one where it was walking through and he just did his mock-up version for guitar, and it's just so funny. It was not necessarily crazy, but it was just every part of it was really thought through really well, and it ended up with him trying to get an axe to chop an egg in half, and he kept on missing it, and the egg kept on rolling around, and that was the ending of the video for about a minute or something. It was funny.
So how did that perform?
It performed really well. It's crazy. Sometimes, as long as there's good content within the video, as long as there's a learning aspect to it, or there's something where the viewer discovers something in the video, then you'll find that you tend to get some really good results with that. If you go a bit crazy in some instances, like with some niches as we say in the UK, then of course you're going to turn off the audience. But with something like Guitar Tuition, then it's fine. They'll love that content.
What was one video that you thought was going to do really well and it bombed? Do you remember? Or one ad campaign?
There's so many.
There's so many.
The reason I say that is because we test so much stuff.
I don't think people realize with marketing that, we have a marketing team in-house. We do marketing, and if I can get 1 out of 5 things to work well, I'm pretty happy, because when marketing, you spend a little on your losses. You go, okay, we're losing. Cool thing about marketing is you don't really have a ton of commitment like you did back in the day with billboards or 12-month contracts for commercials.
And it all rides on one TV ad or something.
Yeah, in 2 days you're like, this clearly doesn't work. Let's stop it. We've only spent $80. Stop it, right? But if you can get that 5th one to work, even if you get the 10th one to work, and you can scale that, you're good to go. But I think a lot of people don't realize that marketing failure is it's a main component of marketing. It's inevitable. You will have it happen.
Yeah.
Right. So you've had ones that and vice versa. I'm sure you've had ones that you thought were going to not do so well, and they probably did great, and you're like, really, exactly, this did well. So what I want to know is, let's talk about a couple, because just to give some people reference of why you thought it was going to work well, what it was, why you thought it was going to work well, and then eventually when it didn't work, why you believe it didn't.
Good question. I think that I have to kind of think of some specifics in order to kind of go through that. So we kind of hedge our bets quite heavily when it comes to adverts, because I'm a big fan of Claude Hopkins and the kind of scientific advertising, and Ogilvy's past as well. So I kind of follow the greats and what they did. And of course it's outdated quite heavily to what can be done now online, because you can do so many cool things. And normally when it's kind of you can run 2 ads side by side and they'll be very similar. So it can be someone speaking to camera, similar kind of script, and you run these two ads side by side, and no joke, the difference I've seen with one ad to the other can be like 17 times better. That's like the most extreme we've seen.
Wow.
And it's always beautiful in hindsight to be like, well, of course, like we're looking at this, that, and the other. But I think that also there's a bias there as well, because you're looking at something and you're looking for the reasons it didn't work. And so it's easy to identify those things. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
And it's easy to find out why things did work, and you can say, oh, well, it probably worked because of this reason. But I'm now like, I don't care too much about what works, what didn't work. I know how to hedge our bets, and I can see the trends over time. So it's really difficult for me to identify like a video and why it didn't work, or a video why it did work, because we just create enough to make sure that we tap into the moment that the customer's having. And this is the thing, is that if you do something like Facebook advertising on a heavy basis, you're targeting a large audience based on their interests. And so you can find that sometimes the creative of one ad can really outperform another ad, and so you're kind of like, you're learning all the time. With YouTube, it's very different. With YouTube, you're tapping into the moments that your customer's having, because it's more of a search-based engine. So everyone goes to YouTube because they're looking to know something, do something, buy something, or be inspired by something.
Right.
And if we take the search aspect of that, then we know that people are going to YouTube with a motivation already to say, I'm looking to know something, do something, or buy something. And if we take that, it's difficult to go completely wrong with that, because you're saying, well, we know what your motivation for being on YouTube is right now at this time, at this scale. In the last 15 minutes, you've typed in that keyword, or you fall into a category that Google have been taking all this data around your recent behavior online. So there's audiences that kind of set up for you, and they say, this is the audience that's doing this right now. And that's the thing, is that these people are doing this right now.
Right.
So you can't go too far wrong with a good ad. Like, if you get in front of them and like answer their problems and kind of like deliver some good content, then it's difficult to kind of make that completely bomb. Because completely bomb is like, it didn't perform as well as another one for us, sort of thing. But we know that's going to happen. We know that we can try out 3 different intros to a video, and one's going to be the winner. We just don't know how. We don't know what it will be until we run it.
Right.
So we're kind of like, we turn off quickly, we test real quick, and we spend a lot of money advertising and testing, and a lot of the money we go to, spend is down to R&D. We say, like, well, we've got to find that out. But once we find that data, we're in a great place, because we build for scale then, and we build for that longevity, because we know that it becomes almost like an evergreen promotion. Right.
So with marketing, you say you spent a lot. In fact, you spend so much that Google acknowledged you for spending more, right, than anybody else.
Yeah, right now,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, the crazy thing is, I was talking to somebody about this earlier. Some people have a really twisted understanding as to what marketing is. And it's usually because a lot of business owners don't start doing marketing until later, right? Like in the very beginning, you're not spending a lot in marketing if you're just kind of bootstrapping the whole thing. So they get into operations. Operations is all about being scrappy and saving and being resourceful. And then when you get to marketing, it's not about saving money at this point. It's about spending money. The best marketers like to talk about how much they spend, right? Have you noticed that trend? Yeah. They'll be like, oh, I actually spent this much. I spent this much. They talk about that. Whereas, people that haven't been in the marketing world, they look to cut corners, and it doesn't really work that way. So you spent a lot of money already. The more you spend, the more you can test. The more you can test, the more you can learn. Now that you've learned a lot, what are some things, some principles that you learned, no matter what? We will do this in every video. These are standards.
Yep.
These have to be in here, and we will never do these. These are standards. These will never be in here. So what are those principles?
So the ones that there's 2 things we do. So it comes down to strategy and video. So after so much testing and so much spend, we know that in order to build something, we've got to think of this as not just one ad by itself, but this becomes a story that you're going to tell to the consumer. So you're saying to yourself, right, well, a lot of companies will say, here's our one ad. And it's because there's a lot of companies that come from a TV mindset, and they say, we spent $100,000 putting this thing together, and we hope it's going to work. And it works really well for TV, and we're just going to try and copy and paste that for YouTube. And that never works. The way that we look at it is to say, we've got to give some level of education to the audience, because they're there for that reason. So in order to have a good ad, we need to make sure we deliver upon that. So we have like, we call it G.O.A.T, and it's a 7 point as we go through it. So it's an acronym. So the A of G.O.A.T is aim. So that idea is like saying, what's the viewer's aim right at this moment in time? What are they looking for? And what can we help them with as well? So you tap into understanding exactly what their needs and their wants are, and what their higher benefits of that will be. if they get that solved. So you say, right, that's your big aim right now. And you can start making a few bullet points of what that might be. Then we move into the D of educate, and the D is the difficulty. What's standing in their way from achieving that aim? Because they're coming to YouTube because they want to fix this potential problem. What's the difficulty that's standing in their way? And if you can explain that better than your customer has it in their head, it's going to build so much trust with them immediately. Because they're like, oh, you just phrased that in a way that I've never thought of that before, and you're completely right. And if you can get that in their head, they're like, well, this person obviously knows more about my problem than I do, and so they'll be instantly trustworthy with you as well. You get bonus points at this stage if you turn that difficulty into a personified thing, so to speak. So you see this with like kitchen detergent adverts on TV and things. You'll see like the company won't just say, oh, if you use this type of detergent, you're going to get rid of this bacteria and this grime and this, like, whatever it might be, this dirt, etc. They won't talk about it like that. They'll turn that difficulty, that kind of the bacteria type thing, into some sort of green monster. And so they personify it. So you can say, yeah, that's the thing that's killing me right now, or that's the thing that's hurting my business right now, or whatever it might be. If you can personify that, then people attach a visualization of that problem. And if you can do that, it's like it becomes this lifelong mission for you, like the person that's advertising, to help them beat that problem, which is like perfect. We then move into like the U, which is the understanding of educate. So the understanding is to make sure that you can build that empathy with your viewer. So it's like, hey, look, you know that I know how you feel around this. So it's like understand their emotions that come up when their aim is not being achieved because of the difficulties getting in the way. So make sure you tell them that you understand their emotional feeling around that. And then we move into the C of educate, which is the credibility. At this point, the viewer's like desperate to understand what it is that you can kind of do to help them, because they're like, oh, well, you just explained exactly what my aim is, what my difficulty is. You tell me you can understand, and hopefully now you're going to be able to solve my problem. But before you do that, just, are you the real person? Like, should I really be listening to you?
Right.
And so you're just building that bit of credibility there. Just one line, 2 sentences, whatever it needs to be, just real quick. It could be like images of you on stage, or if you've written a book, or you've helped people in the past. It's like, just quickly explain that.
I've spent more money on YouTube than anybody else.
Yeah, precisely. It's like, okay, cool. You must know what you're talking about.
Okay.
And then after the C of educate, you move into the A, which is the action plan. You've got to make sure you have something that your viewers can buy into. So they're like, okay, I've got this problem, and you sound like you're the right person for the job, and what's the action plan from here? What do I need to do? And that might be like a 27-step type thing, or whatever it is, but you've got to make it feel like it's a 3-point plan, or even a 4-point plan potentially as well. Something that your viewer can say, okay, cool, I can conceptualize that, I can kind of get it, and I can imagine achieving the result if I just do those 4 steps. Cool, I'm mentally buying in at this point. If it seems too complicated, they won't buy. It's not to say that there won't be 27 steps, but it's just packaging it up so that it feels like there's 3 steps.
Okay.
And again, you get bonus points at this point if you make sure that someone feels like they've already started that process. So I'm not sure if you've been to like a cafe before and they give you like a loyalty card.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of testing on this, and they say that if you give someone a loyalty card where it's got like 8 to get, then they'll be like, great, thank you so much. But if they say that it's 10 to get, but I'm going to stamp the first 2 for you and give it to you, it's still 8 to get, but you feel like, oh, well, I've already started something here.
And I'm further ahead than I should be.
Yeah, precisely. Like, oh, great, well, I'll stick that in my wallet and I'll get 2 more next time.
Yeah.
So you're committed to the process. Likewise, if you can build your 3-step plan and make them realize that maybe they've already started step 1 of that 3-step plan, and they're going to be like, well, great, I've already done that bit. What else do I need to do then? So you kind of get that buy-in from them mentally. And then after that, you move into the teaching. So you want to make sure you provide value in the video in some way, give them a unique perspective on things, maybe give them a bit of a teaching, like give them something that they can learn. Because then if they get to that point where at that point in the video, they're like, great, I've learned something, they're going to feel like that was amazing, what's next? And you want to get your viewers' mindset to the point where they're like, they're already asking the question of what's next before you even put the call to action together, so to speak. So they're super primed, they're ready to do whatever you tell them to do. And that's when we move into the exit point of the E of educate, is the exit. And that's where you're going to be really super clear with your call to action. As long as you have a relevant, really valuable offer for them of some sort, you'll find that you get a lot of people clicking through to go and take the next step. And we future pace it. So we'll say, hey, what you're going to do is you're going to click this link. It's going to take you to the web page that looks like this. You're going to fill in your name and email here. And it's going to take you straight away through to this webinar or whatever it is you're promoting at that point.
It's pretty cool how you were able to put educate. Like you,
it took
like put a little work.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it makes sense. All those points. I was like thinking about the ads as you were making them. I was thinking about some of the best ads, and those are principles that I've seen in some really good ads. So that's actually really cool. When you're running these YouTube ads, you know, well, what we have paid, which you're definitely spending a lot, right? You got acknowledgement on that. Are you still helping people with the organic stuff?
We don't touch the organic stuff.
You don't touch the organic. Why not?
Just because it's no ROI that we can track real quick.
Okay.
And we're an ad agency, so like, and we know people that are really good on the YouTube side, building that side out. But we're really, really good at like spending money to make money.
Okay.
The brand will get a huge lift. Don't get me wrong. Like if you have a video that gets 6 million, 7 million views, and then like your video is there in your channel, you start owning your space very, very quickly on the organic side as well.
Right.
But we just don't focus on it just because it's like not our core thing. We've got our one thing that we do incredibly well, and we stick to that. And we know people that do that slightly better than us right now, and prefer to just send them to other experts.
There's several ways to run ads, whether it's in-stream or search. What's your preference?
In-stream.
In-stream.
Yeah, the discovery ads, which are the ones that appear at the top of the search results or on the right-hand side, are still great, and we run them. But like in-stream, you can get in front of people immediately. You can just say, hey, look, I'm going to interrupt you right now, and this ad is compelling, and you're going to love it. And you get a lot more reach, a lot more rapidly with that.
So let's say you were going to make a video right now.
Yep.
To promote, let's say...
we can do this if you like. We can create an ad right now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Cool. Can we promote this show right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's create an ad right now to promote this show. How do we kick things off? Like, I get educate, but how do we get that going?
Okay, so if we're going to do an ad right now, okay, we're going to need to get a bit creative because
let's promote this episode.
All right, okay, cool. This episode, okay.
Yes.
So what's the aim of the viewer?
The aim of the viewer is somebody that wants to learn how to run better YouTube ads.
Okay, perfect. And what's the difficulty they're having right now?
They don't know how to run YouTube ads, but they know that they need to because they've heard that there's opportunity there, and they just don't know how to leverage that.
How to do it? Okay, we need a real powerful difficulty. What about Facebook advertising is increasing?
Facebook ads are increasing.
Like the cost is increasing, so it's like I need to diversify or something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What does that feel like? What's the understanding? How do we tell them that we understand them?
We understand. We've seen that same trend with SEO and AdWords as well.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. You've seen it all before, and it's scary for a business owner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then credibility, we'll build that in. I can do that one because that's cool. And then we're going to the action plan. What's the action? So they're going to download this episode.
Yep.
What 3 things can we say that's going to be the 3 things they're going to learn?
They're going to learn all the principles that every single video ad should have.
Cool.
Okay. They're going to learn the type of YouTube ads you should focus on most.
Yep.
In stream. And then we're going to
maybe do some targeting or something, like how to find your audience on YouTube.
And targeting, like how to make sure that you get your ads seen by the right people that can actually have a higher likelihood of buying your product.
Awesome. Okay, so that's a 3-step plan. Maybe one tip that we can give away that would be really useful for them. Maybe.
Can we even tell them like this ad that you're watching right now is actually created during the interview?
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Can we do that?
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So this is kind of live right now, and you're going to learn to see
cool?
how we're going to put it all together.
I mean, we have the cameras, we have the audio. Sam's loving it. Look at him; he's ready.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice.
So and
like then the exit plan is going to be like, okay, so how do they get access to this show or this episode?
Well, we should probably get an easy URL for this. Yeah, but we should make an easy URL for this one. So everybody watching. You guys are literally watching us work through this. You're seeing his face. Everybody that's listening, you're missing out because you can see the wheels turning a little bit. So just make sure you watch this one. You're going to literally see us create a YouTube ad. So the reason we're creating an easy URL is because when you're running an ad, if they're watching on their phone, what would you say the percentage is on the phone? I've heard it's pretty high.
It's over 50%.
Over 50% of people are watching the video from YouTube ads on their phones. Ready?
I'm ready.
I don't know what to do. I'm watching you.
So you're going to start off with, hey, if you're looking and you start with the aim. Okay. And I'll prep you. I'll finish off my section to help you out with the next section. Okay. All right. We'll see how this goes. We might have to do a couple of takes.
So that's okay. That's okay. It'll be good. I mean, personally, I would love to watch this whole thing, like be a fly on the wall during this. So this is giving other people the chance to do the same. Okay, so the aim, so I'll say, if you're watching this, am I saying that if you're watching this? Because we probably search something similar to that?
Well, the thing is that that's like a bit of a bias, because if they're watching it, they are watching it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what do I say? Like,
hey, if you want to, and then whatever that's going to be. If you
okay, so if you want to learn how to
get more customers from YouTube ads, or something like that.
If you want to learn how to get way more customers through YouTube ads, okay, and then and then what?
Then listen in, because we've got something really, really cool to share with you.
And then I'm gonna, and
then I'll take over and I'll pass back to you, and then I'll work it out. We'll work it out as we go.
Okay. And when you pass it back, you think it's that easy. I don't know what you're gonna pass back to me when you're doing it. All right. So when you pass it back to me,
I'll take on the difficulty and understanding, and I'll pass it back to. I'll take on the credibility as well. That'll be an easy one.
Okay.
And the action plan, you're gonna say, here's what we covered in this episode.
Okay.
So like it'll be the video, the targeting, and
the principles of the video, like what every video should have.
Strategy for campaigns or something like that. And
the best types of video ads to run as far as the types of ads, and then the targeting.
Okay. And then you can, and then what we'll do is we'll say, and you can say, and we're doing this video right now in the episode itself, which is pretty cool. And then I don't mind doing the call to action at the end of it.
You got it. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Okay. If you want to learn how to get a ton more customers with YouTube ads, then watch this video, because what's the transition?
So I'm going to be talking about the difficulty. I just realized one of my buttons is undone, man.
Oh no, that will lose. That's costs.
That's 15% loss straight away. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're looking to get more customers through YouTube ads, then keep watching.
Then listen in.
Oh, then listen in.
And I'll take over.
Then listen in. And then that's it.
And then I'll pass it back to you nicely.
All right, here we go. Ready?
I try. I'm saying like I'll be able to nail this. I'm not sure.
You got this. Here we go. Okay. If you're looking to get way more customers using YouTube ads, then listen in.
Okay, so if you're advertising in areas like Facebook right now, you've probably seen the prices increase more and more every single month. And if that's the case, then you're probably feeling a little bit worried about where the future lies. And YouTube could be the perfect answer for you. Now, I run YouTube ads for so many different clients, spending a fortune every single month, and I feel like I can really help you out. And what I'm going to share with you right now is, well, actually, what you're going to share with them right now is what we're talking about in this episode. So so
we're going to be talking about the types of YouTube ads that you should be running, as there's actually several different types of ads that you can choose to run. We're also going to be talking about the principles that every video should have and should not have, and more importantly, how to make sure that those ads are seen by the right people to make sure that you have the highest likelihood of turning those viewers into customers.
Exactly. So if you want to get access to this right now, what you need to do is click the link in this video right now. Click that, it will take you through, sign up, and you've got instant access. Do that right now.
He's the man.
I think we nailed it.
That was pretty good,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so what you're saying is that's going to make me $1 million.
Pretty much. Well, a bit more. Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to make this ad. Sam, it's done. Sam, it's done. We need to push this episode up just to test it, because if it works, we're just going to do this for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just the educate system.
So when you make a YouTube ad, I mean, sometimes is it just that quick and simple for you? Like, do you just sometimes just put something like that together? I
normally do a little more research before that.
Oh yeah.
I don't think clients would be too happy if we just did it like that.
Well, I'm saying for your stuff. Like, have you ever just said, you know what, I want to push this guide, or I want to do this, or I want to do that?
We don't do too much of that. What we tend to do, if we do a YouTube ad for our own business, then I'll normally sit there with a script that I'll kind of really think through for a long, long time and be like,
really?
Okay, cool. What am I going to put together? What's the angle here?
So, you know, the only way to become the champion in boxing is if you beat the champion. Yep. So for somebody else to become the GOAT of YouTube, they'd have to be better than you, right? So if, let's say, somebody wanted to beat you and become the GOAT of YouTube, I mean, where do you go? Where do you learn? Like, where are the secret trainings? Where are all those things that people need to do in order to get to that level?
I think that one of the things that I've been playing around with in our own business is I feel like we've got a huge advantage over any other agency. And the reason being is because I spend my own money on advertising for my clients and get paid on results, which means I'm happy to go and test out stuff, not using client spend. So I'm spending my own money to go and test stuff out. So I've been running campaigns for like 3 months sometimes, purposely at a loss, because I'm like looking to test like 20 different things inside of an ad account. Because it's like, as soon as I learn something, I can be like, great, we've got it. and now let's apply it to all other clients, so to speak.
Right.
So I have this opportunity to be able to do that, and not many other agencies are allowed to do that, because when they're spending their clients' money and they start testing a lot of stuff and going to the like stupid level of spend on on these tests, then they don't have that. So I have the ability to do that, and that kind of like over the last few years, that's really accelerated my learning and my growth around YouTube. A lot of that stuff is IP, so I'm never going to share. Share a lot of it. But that's the beauty of advertising, is that when you're doing it, you start to realize what works, what doesn't work, very, very quickly. And so you can get all the basic training and things, but until you actually get into the weeds and start running some of these ad campaigns yourself and thinking through the numbers. So sometimes you see like, oh, this has got a great conversion rate, but it's not just like it's getting good numbers, it's understanding the behavior behind those numbers. And then you really become a good advertiser, because you're like, what am I doing specifically? What is this ad doing specifically that's resonating so well?
That's
and
cool.
if you can like play that backwards and like look through those numbers, then you end up like, I've got it, I know what it is. So that's why we now run interactive advertising pretty much solely. So what I mean by that is that when we run ads for our clients, we make it like a story. So if you saw one of our ads, you would never see it again.
Really?
Because we don't want to bombard you with the same ad over and over and over, like you would see on TV or radio or all these other places.
So you set it up so you've seen this, so now I'm excluding you from seeing it again, but I'm including you on seeing this one.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So we say, here's your first ad, and that's the first thing you're going to see. And depending on how you behave with that, if you click to the website or if you don't or whatever, we have a contingency plan in place to be like, great, well, now we know this about you, and now we know this about you. So we can follow up in a much, much better way.
That's cool.
So your experience of the brand is such that you're like, these companies keep on getting in front of me, but every ad is different, and this is really cool, and I'm loving it. And if you don't take action by the fourth touch point, which is going to be completely unique each time, we put you on something called the naughty list, which means that you've interacted with us 4 times and you haven't taken action just yet. And so we say, right, at that point, let's get rid of you and let's put you onto this list that is excluded from all our advertising. And that means you kind of like you're getting a much, much better ROI. But YouTube love you, and so they give you more reach, and you get more scale that way, and so you can just get a much, much bigger campaign going.
Very cool.
But it's all about data. That's the thing. It's about data, interpreting that data, and then working out there's humans behind those numbers. And if you understand that and get into the psychology of what the human is thinking, then you can create much, much better ads moving forwards.
That's why people hire you, because you're also a master in psychology. So
I think it really helps. Yeah, exactly. If I can get in someone's brain and understand it, start writing scripts that resonate with them.
Awesome. All right, so last question. I've been asking this lately, so I'm going to ask you too. It's totally separate from YouTube ads.
Okay.
So if you could have dinner with any person, or a dinner party, as we've learned that the last guy, Vince Reed, wanted to do dinner party because he wanted more people. If you have a dinner,
cheating on the answer.
Yeah. If you could have dinner with any one person or people, and knowing that at that table, once they sit down, they are only able to tell you the truth, no matter what question. You could ask them whatever question you want for 2 straight hours. Who would it be that you would like to have dinner with? And I'd like to see what kind of question you'd ask too.
Oh my God. So do you want my honest answer?
Oh yeah. No, I want you to totally lie to me for PR. No,
okay,
so honest answer.
So one side of me, so there's 3 ways of answering this, I think.
Okay.
Do you mind if I have like 3 different guests? But
yes.
So the one that I immediately would go to would be, I presume you can go to people alive or dead.
Alive or dead.
Yeah, cool. So the immediate, as soon as you said that, the immediate one that came up in my mind is my mum, who passed away unfortunately when I was very young. So that's an obvious one, right? So that would be kind of like, I'd love to just go and have a dinner with her. That'd be amazing. The next one that came to my mind was Adolf Hitler, which is like a real controversial thing to say, right? I just can't understand how someone would get into that mindset, and I'd love to try and unpick that in some way, or see what went wrong at some point, or like I'm trying to understand it in some way, which sounds so controversial.
No, Vince Reed selected Donald Trump and Barack Obama.
Oh, right, okay, there we go, yeah. But the other one would be Ogilvy. I'd just love to sit with Ogilvy and just hear his stories and just understand like how he became the kind of godfather of advertising. Because some of this, I know all his story of like his life and things, but I feel like a natural affinity with him because he grew up in a very, very similar space to where I am in the UK. And so David Ogilvy will probably be the one, and just understanding how he took on so much damn risk with clients. Like imagine like a billboard campaign that's going to cost many millions, and how he just decides this is going to be the one that we go for, and then just I'd just love to understand how he felt when he was going live with something like that.
Yeah, like were you really wondering if you rolled the dice on that one?
Yeah, exactly. I can spend like $10 and be like, okay, it's not working.
Yeah.
And he has to spend $1 million, and then it's like, okay, it's not working. Right. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. Cool. Well, hey, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. You shared a lot of stuff. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit more right after this too. For everybody that's watching, everybody listening, we just spent time with the GOAT, and this was a good episode too. So we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Cheers, buddy.